did have issues, to be able to fall back on that, still know that I at least had a chance at a good run, even though a couple times I messed up the second time. But I mean, I'm for having it. It's different. Not very many leagues do use them. So I mean, I feel that could be something that would definitely be a benefit, and could possibly even though after the first few races, like Glenn said, driver counts do fall off. That may be something that allows drivers to stay.
Okay.
I pretty much copy what Eric just said.
Yeah, I was one who said I didn't want fast repairs, but I think taking away for the whole season is probably too harsh.
Yeah, I think maybe
I think you need it for a minimum the first 10 races, maybe even the whole regular season.
Yeah,
Then
maybe
when
have
the
it
playoffs come around, you take away the fast repair.
I
Yeah.
used so
Could add
many
to the
fast
drama a
repairs
little bit.
last season. I used so many fast repairs last season, and I used some of Eric's.
Yeah, I'm with Andrew.
Yeah.
Take them off for the regular, or leave them on for the regular season. Take them off for the playoffs.
Yeah, that
what
was
we had discussed.
that was something that we had proposed when we were talking a couple weeks ago. Is that, you know, we would maybe keep them for the regular season, and then when it came championship and playoff time, that we did not have the option of a fast repair.
Yeah, I mean, how many cautions did we even have in the playoffs this year? Like, I could probably count them on one hand. Like, anytime we had a caution, it was inconsequential for anybody, and I think having no fast repair would change that.
Well, and even that, I mean, throughout the season, yeah, races did get cleaner. Granted, some of the fields got smaller and smaller in size, but I mean, in the end, with or without him in the championship, I don't think would have made much of a difference there. But I mean, I would say let's see how the cautions go throughout the year, up until about 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, to know if they would be on or off. I wouldn't necessarily say let's make a decision on that now, because if it winds up being iRacing makes a lot of changes with this oval refresh and stuff, and makes updates on the next gen car, and it gets harder and harder to drive, or they really mess something up on one of the updates, I'd say leave the option open until closer to the playoffs, with a few weeks to spare, just in case we got to shift fire at that point, and say keep it or drop them for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. You guys make the rules. You can make a rule change mid-season. Like, leave yourself open to that.
Yeah, none of this is like when we have the rules at the beginning of the season. They're not etched in stone.
Well, you need to make a more etched in stone for the end, so it's clear. Because I didn't understand the last 3 races. I thought there was no bonus points, and I got screwed. I'm just saying.
Well, there wasn't any stage points, was there? There was just like the normal points when you
I
do
don't
the
want to
lap
go
and stuff.
rehash last season, guys. It's done.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
last
think
season
that's where the
is
discussion
how
was.
you fix this season. That's how you do it. You go over the rules that were last season and update them.
I personally,
We will not carry over any bonus points.
Yeah. Well, let's hold on. Let's focus. Let's stay focused on the topic first before we move on to that. Let's stick with the. We're talking about the fast repairs for right now. So, it sounds like for the most part everybody's still in favor of having them, and then we are questioning whether or not we will continue them through the playoffs or not at this point. So it sounds like we're all in agreement with that. We won't make a decision until we get to the playoffs next year of whether or not we're going to take them away or not. The one question I want to ask is, I guess we can look at a couple of reasons why we would say we want them or we don't want them. I think first off would be a reason is that if people have a fast repair, they drive like idiots, knowing that whatever happens to them, they'll have a reset, and then from that point on, they'd have to be cautious. So,
no, I don't agree with that. I don't
No,
believe people drive like that.
So there is
Okay.
there is that mindset that some people have expressed. You know, I don't remember who or anybody, so I'm not here to say that, but I'm just saying some people say that, you know, they'll come in, and I agree that could be the case with some people too, and then other people, there's also the idea that, you know, if we're racing, that, hey, great, I'm saving that. And listen, and I do the same thing. I get through as long as I can, and I save that fast repair until something happens where I can't drive it. I will try to come in every pit stop and just have them fix what they can just to stay running. And then at the end, at the last pit stop, if I've had damage, I will do a fresh reset for myself. Now, I can understand that being, if you guys are, you know, running top 5 and you're running in contention for the win, how that can kind of affect an outcome too. So there's also that mindset towards, you know, towards fast repairs.
I mean, I guess I'll say I'm definitely in favor of having them, because the group that we've had here, for the most part, I don't think the fast repair has been a cause for anything egregious, with, especially with everybody that's in the room right now. I will admit that, yeah, when I have one in my pocket, I will drive a little bit more aggressively, just because I know it's in the back of my mind. Not necessarily saying wrecking anybody or anything, but I'll definitely push the envelope a little bit further. But like I also said, I do like the fact of, especially early in the race, if you get caught up in a wreck, whether it's of your own doing or someone else's doing, it is nice to know that you still have a chance. You just got to tone it back a little bit. So I mean, there is always that factor of it that I 100% agree with.
Okay, any thoughts, Mike?
No, I think that's okay. You know, the aggression part is something that we just have to watch and see it. If it becomes a problem, you know, then you know, somebody has to watch for it, which means somebody has to admin and not race. So that's why I want to bring it up, but I don't want to be a focal point.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it sounds like everybody's in agreement on it so far.
Yeah, I think so.
Until like we get close to the chase and decide what we're going to do.
Yeah, and everybody remember too, I mean, most of us have been iRacing for a long time. We're going to get new people that come in, like this new guy that we were talking about, that Michael Baker mentioned here and stuff like that. We're going to get new people join us that need to learn, you know, and we try to be, listen, we're supposed to be a Christian racing league. We try to be inclusive and get everybody in, especially people who are Christians who are new to iRacing, to help them along and this and that. And, you know, we've always tried to let people in as long as they can control their car and they're not a hazard on the track, you know, they can stay out of the way and stuff like that. So, you know, we don't want to do stuff that's going to like exclude, you know, everybody, as, you know, we try to do as little of that as we can within reason. So for someone new, I think a fast repair is helpful. I mean, they use it and then they wreck their car and they end up sitting in the pits for 40 minutes. It's like, well, it's up to them if they're going to sit and wait for that repair or not. But, you know, they had their one chance, and, you know, at least it's not a one and done type of deal.
Right. Yep. Okay. Next.
The next thing I know we talked about, somebody had mentioned, was incident points.
Having a limit.
Yeah,
Or
three spins, bringing out the caution, and having maybe an incident point limit or stuff like that. And again, you want to talk about, you know, who brought the caution out, go to the end of the line, and this and that. So that was kind of a topic we were talking about.
Yeah, we talked
did
about
well
how
this year without it.
say that again.
I know. I know I brought up in the AOLL, we have, if you cause a yellow flag, if you cause an incident, you shout out, say, that's on me, and they give you an end of longest line, and that's where you start from.
Yeah.
So, no, you're still racing, you're just going to have to race a little harder now.
When I ask that question, who caused the caution, and everybody says, I don't know, then what?
Well, then what they do is the admins go back and look at the race, and they assess any problems. They assess any points, things
Right.
that
And
way.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is not the kind of league I want to be running. Is one where I just spend a boatload of time watching replays of film and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. We've had to go and review things after races in the past. And even at the beginning of this year, we ask, hey, what happened? Mike always asks, hey, what happened with the caution? Nobody keys up and nobody says anything.
That's how that's how the fast repair and incident limits fix itself.
Yeah, so does that mean that Mike now has to park his car on pit road and go back and look at the replay to figure out what just happened at that caution?
No. They like I said, they have a number of admins in the other league, so they have time to go back and review stuff and adjust points and stuff like that. If you guys don't have the time, you don't have the time. It's no big deal. We didn't have it before, we don't have to have it now.
And we have tried to do it on the honor system, and at the beginning of the season, it doesn't work because we've got new people. We got people that don't fess up. Yeah, look, I mean, when we get down to the final third of the season, and there's like 15 of us every week, it's the same guys. I mean, we know it's no big deal to go to the end of the line and you'll get back up there unless it's a green-white checker type of situation. So for the most part, we know that it's not the end of the world for us to go to the back and start and just come up to the front within a couple of laps. So it's the beginning of the season. We have so many people that it gets frustrating to be able to have someone, I think it was me or, whatever, say, okay, just go to the end of the longest line, not a big deal.
Well, you can do it on an honor system. Say this is the rule, and if nobody shouts out it was my fault, there's nothing you can do about it. I'll tell you, in my particular case, I'm real careful about that. I mean, I know I've shouted out and said, I think that was me, and taken the end of the longest line, and it turned out it wasn't me, but that's okay,
And that really does boil back to a lot of the who we're racing with. Obviously, most of us know each other pretty well, but yeah, when we get the newer drivers in, whether it's at the beginning of the season or as we have some drivers that either are new or extremely part-time that come in and race here and there, may not I guess be the most honest in that sense. Yeah, that could be a drawback as well. But at the same token, Ross, to your point of the admins and everything going back after the race, I understand where you're coming from. The other leagues I run and do that, but in Glenn and Mike's defense as well, that is a lot of time that they may have to put in.
It is a lot of work. Yeah.
I will say that if it ever came down to it and something like that were to go on, if anyone with Mike and Glenn, I'm more than willing to help out as needed. So I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's I know everybody's been a cause of a wreck here and there. I mean, every single one of us in this room has been guilty of causing a wreck unintentionally at times. Hopefully none of them were intentional, which I don't think any of them were, but I mean, the honor system, I do like that part of it, but it can be an issue down at crunch time with Baker, and I drive into the rear or rear, either one of them, spin them out at the end of the race. It's for the race championship, and I don't fess up to it. Well, I just took it all and didn't own up to the mistake, and therefore leaves them in a bad situation and a bad mood.
Right.
So I mean,
Try to
there,
get both of them, just not one or the other. Get both of them.
right? But no, I'm just using it as an example, obviously. It's just it can be a plus. There's pluses and minuses to both sides of the fence on that. Absolutely. I guess if I may suggest, if it's like your typical racing incident, 2 cars or a single car spin, we know we can pretty much deem very easily who did what. But if it winds up being something where,
And the way the rules read now is that's basically what it says. If somebody thinks there was something that is egregious, then they would bring it up to Glenn or I. We would go look at the recording then and make a decision then. We're not doing it every week, but we're, when it needs it, we would do it.
I think it's egregious. Lee keeps winning so many races.
Tell me about it. I just put his name in, like, I'll go Lee wins for the next 10 races, then I'll skip one. Lee wins, skip one,
Can we get a rule where all these fast guys like Lee and Andrew and Michael and Eric and these people that are really fast, they have an extra weight on their car or something?
Yeah, I'll have to ride with them. That'll help.
I'm fine. With it.
Fall into the 100 pounds per win.
I'll take the extra weight. It'll help my car handle better.
Exactly.
Right along with the admins.
All right, so everybody okay with that? Anybody? I guess I should say anybody not okay with that.
Not okay with what? What did you decide?
Everything.
What were we just talking about?
Well, I think what we wanted to talk about the yellow flag issue. So I guess we'll continue to do what we've had done, what's in the rules. Again, the reason why is, like we said, sometimes people don't fess up or this or that, and we didn't want to have to go in park. So I guess we'll continue with the honor system.
It's an honor system. It's a gentleman's agreement type thing. If you're so low down that you cause a yellow and you won't fess up to it, well, you know what? God's watching.
Yeah. So as long as everybody understands, because the rule is in there. I don't want people saying, "Hey, you didn't give so and so a yellow flag." Well, we didn't know. Now we got to go back and I just want to make sure everybody kind of understands what the general idea of the rule is supposed to be, so that Mike and I don't have to go back at reviews and figure out, well, nobody claimed the caution on that one. Okay, we got 2 yellow flags. We got to go back and figure out and assess penalties. So we don't want to be getting into that.
Right.
If it comes down to that, the penalties are going to be ultra stiff, like 30, 40 points if you're wrong.
And I don't think they're going to stay. I don't think somebody that is in that situation sticks around for very long in the league. As I said, if you look at the first 4 races from the season compared to anywhere is in the second half of the season, the driver count is down. So that was the bring out the yellow flag thing. The other thing that people had talked about was possibly putting an incident point limit on the races. Which Mike, I don't remember when we had stuff like this, but I remember we had a lot of issues with people because, like, on a restart, if you get sandwiched from behind and bumped into the car in front of you, just that one thing there, you pick up 4 incident points, and it's like it became an issue for us with people that were like, they didn't even do anything, and because somebody bumped into the back of them, they had 4 incident points. So I don't know if we want to revisit implementing an incident point limit for a race, but if we've gone,
did we do a limit or did we just do them for bonus points?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's right. I think we had 2. I think initially when we started it, we had 3 different levels of bonus points. Mm-hmm. And because people were complaining because they should have had 0 and they got bumped on pit road, and we had people fighting with us that I shouldn't have had 1 and this and that. So I think we went, like, for anyone from 0 to 5 incident points, you got 3 bonus points for the race. Just so that we had that. But again, what happens is, so Lee, I mean, listen, I don't want it to sound like we're picking on you, but you had an absolutely incredible, phenomenal season with the amount of wins and bonus points and everything like that. So what I'm trying to say this is, in a situation like that, how do we keep everybody else in competition with a driver that has done that well and scored so many bonus points? Well, we gave another opportunity for people to get bonus points by driving cleanly. But if you're driving up in the front the whole time, you never get an incident point. So automatically every week you're getting those 3 bonus points all the time, and you're just building and building and building on this huge bonus point lead over everybody else. So I don't know if that's something we want to continue. We did that to try to get clean driving happening, and it kind of worked because people were trying to avoid incidents so they could get a clean end up with 0 incident points and get those 3 bonus. But in the long run, we're adding all these extra bonus points for the guys in the front to just pull away from each other. So I don't know if that was hurtful or helpful in the chase race.
I think the point system was perfect the way it was this year, without all those bonus points for incidences and things like that.
Yeah, I don't think it would have made any difference this year, and just adds more work for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, I would like to go with as few bonuses as possible. Mostly because when we start the season and you have 25 drivers, you can make or lose a lot of points. When you're down to 15, the ones you can make up and lose.
That's 10 positions.
So, to have a carry over 90-point lead into each one is basically whoever lead would have been who wouldn't have was regular season.
That was Michael Baker.
Yeah, would have been the champion if we'd have done it the other way.
I see y'all trying to eliminate me. I see it.
No, we already did that.
I know.
It worked.
We did that last week, didn't we, Baker?
I'd say if we do bonus points, I think we don't worry about the stage part.
Good boy.
In just my personal opinion, I think we skip the stage because that's also one less thing that you necessarily have to go back and look for. I'd say lap led, most laps led. Plain and simple, just like NASCAR actually does it.
Which is what we had. So for those of you that don't understand the Sim Racer Hub system that we use, when we finish the race, we just directly upload that results to the system, and it automatically tabulates all that, and it gives us a couple options for which bonuses can be built in. And as Eric said, one of them, which we had this year, was you get a point for leading a lap, you get a point for leading the most laps, and you get, I don't remember if we had 3 points, but you get bonus point for winning the race. Those are all built in. There's nothing that the admins have to do as extra or anything like that. And it gives people an opportunity to race for something to get a bonus, whether it was staying out to lead the lap, or in competition with, hey, he and I are pretty much close with leading the most laps. I want to fight so I can get that bonus. It allows something to work towards, but it doesn't create any extra work for the admins because that's built right into the system there. As far as these,
decide how you want it, then it's easy.
Yeah, and as far as the stage breaks go, there's no way in there to put stage breaks in for points, and it used to be a manual thing that Mike and I had to do. We had to go back and figure out at the stage break what was the top 10, and we'd have to figure out, okay, we go 10 points through 1 point like NASCAR does, and we'd have to go in after every single race and manually go in and add all this stuff. So we phased it out this year, but to give you guys something to run for with the stage break, that's why what we did was we gave 1 point for the stage win, and we didn't add anything until the first round of the playoffs, which is, so that's how we did it this year.
I feel like everything was fine. I feel like it was kind of explained well before the. I don't know if Baker missed anything because he said he kind of didn't understand the whole points thing going into the last round with bonus points. But I feel like it was fine because I knew we had discussed it was going to be those 3 bonus points were available. If you win the race, lead the most laps, and lead a lap. But I feel like everything was fine this season. But I wouldn't mind the stage. I know it's something to race for, add some more incentive sometimes, but I wouldn't mind if we didn't have a stage point.
And we did away with the mandatory caution at the stage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but, by manually throwing a caution, you know that at the halfway point or wherever we said that you were going to have a caution and have time to come in and get 4 tires and get fuel and fix repairs and this and that. I think by not throwing a caution at that point, it allowed the race to play out as whatever happens. And it was an unknown, which I think, I know a lot of guys like, well, I just like to race and race for race for it. I'm like, but part of racing is also strategy. So that's why this year we had that point, we had that bonus, but we did not throw the stage caution. And that was another manual thing we had to track, but that was after the regular season. But I mean, we can still remove that and just have regular racing without stage stuff.
I would like to have the caution halfway for the simple fact those of us that are mid-pack and back, we're so strung out by that point in the race, we're not racing against anyone. We're just out there riding around.
I'd like to vote 1 for Ron there. I kind of agree. I think it helps bring the pack back together and makes the racing more exciting.
I think I'd agree with that. If you're going to give points for stages, then we should do a caution as well. But again, on the other hand, I don't think with the format this year that stage points made any difference.
Right. I'm on board with that. I mean, even if we're not doing the stage point, I'd say maybe not necessarily halfway exactly, but before the race, come up with a predetermined lap to throw that caution.
My idea,
generalized.
Yeah, my idea on that was too, maybe if we had a caution within 20-25 laps of midway, then we wouldn't throw one.
Now, on the flip side of that, I know fuel was a big issue with that, and I know it's kind of caveating into a different issue. With that being said, if we're playing the fuel racing game, put the caution out to where it doesn't bring the fuel part into the game, to where your pit stop time comes up with a different strategy at that point.
How would you figure that out?
So that would be where we'd have to basically track by track and figure out what the lap count is on the average tank, and throw a caution to where it's not right on the very limit of that lap count. Because there's some guys that can save gas really, really well, and other guys that not so much. And it can, we had a bunch of different strategies this year, especially late in the season, which was great fun. But regardless of which strategy you picked, you were fuel saving at some point during the race just to get through it. Make it to where if we were to do a caution to where it's like halfway through a tank, halfway through a fuel run, to where you got a little bit of wiggle room, it'd be like a 5 or 10 lap window type thing in the end.
I hear what Ron and Ross were saying, because that Ron and I raced against each other for position quite a bit this year. We're pretty close to each other. And I know exactly what he's talking about, because there were times where we could not make up any ground on each other, and somehow, like he said, there's for us, there's no competition. I'm like, okay, there's nobody ahead of me on the track, there's nobody behind me on the track, because we're that spread out, and we're running identical times, but we never get caught up to race each other. So that, I understand that. That sounds like a good idea to me. I think the only thing, Mike, would be is that's going to create a little bit more work that somebody's going to have to for each track, and it also depends on what we're doing for fuel load and how we set that up for next year. Somebody's going to have to test and tell us how long we can go on a tank of fuel, and then we got to figure out, okay, so we'd stop, a couple laps short of running a full fuel run to give people time to get in and this and that. And then maybe, we decide either, so around lap so-and-so, we'll throw a caution unless one comes out, we could say within 5 laps before, like a 10-lap range with a number. If we don't get something in that time frame, then we would automatically throw something.
Yeah, you're making it hard on yourself.
This is
just
getting
throw
confusing.
it at the halfway. Just throw it at the halfway point.
No matter what.
Would 50% fuel not solve all of our problems? Because 45 is pretty much, it seems like halfway on our races. It seems like halfway through the race we're pitting.
It doesn't matter what you got for fuel, you're still going to run the same amount of laps. So you throw the caution at the halfway point no matter what everybody's fuel is at.
Well, I think what Eric was trying to say, Ross, is if we have the same amount of fuel and we run to lap 60 and we pit on lap 30 or 29 and we're going to have a caution on lap 60, we're going to be pitting with 1 to go before the caution, or we're going to be running out of fuel under caution. And he wants to avoid that.
Well, the other thing too was with the 45% fuel or whatever it was we had set, by creating and forcing more pit stops per race, we've had plenty of people who have made mistakes on pit road, and that definitely affected the outcome of the race. And that is and that is a part of racing, which, I don't want to speak for Mike, but for me personally, I'm like, oh great, if I go in and I run a good pit stop and I come in and I don't speed off pit road and I don't get a penalty, guess what? These guys, you guys running up front, I'm like, ooh, so-and-so got a speeding penalty. I'm like, oh, great, I feel good. I did not. I did a good job. Now that's changing the outcome of the race because we had to pit multiple times for fuel during the race. And I think that's one of the things that me and Mike liked about it when we started to shorten the fuel load was that, well, you're running the same amount of laps, but you're spending less time on pit road. And, people might be able to race fast on the track, but they're not good at pitting, and that could definitely change the outcome of races. So I think that's kind of why we like to have, the shorter fuel amounts, right, Mike?
Put 35% in the car.
40% would be better. I feel like we had a lot of races where it was like you had to save a little bit of fuel to make it, and it was just you're just out there riding around, and there was not any racing going on a lot throughout the end of the season.
Take Talladega, for example.
Right.
Hold on. So what the problem is, we're coming up from two sides, the same problem. Okay? I just forgot. What were we talking about?
The fuel percentage.
Oh, right.
Throwing the cautions at the halfway point.
Is I wanted strategy to be in play. That was the only reason it's at 45. So if that's not the right number, then what is the right number? Whatever that number is will fix all this other stuff. Somebody just needs to tell me what fuel percentage we want.
I feel like if we had either a little bit more or a little bit less, it would be better because right now, from the drop of the green flag, you're saving fuel the whole time. Right. And if it goes green, which it does a lot, it goes green. I mean, you're just locked into that strategy, and you're not racing. You're just running a train and riding around. And I feel like if we had a little bit more or a little bit less, then it would take that it could take that out of it. But you could also get a caution, 15 laps into the run, and hey, if I save fuel, I can make it to the end, and that changes the whole strategy thing. Or you could run hard and maybe still make it, or it would throw a big loop in the strategy. Versus from the drop of the green, you're just going to save fuel and nobody's going to race. Up front, at least.
More pit stops is the answer. So,
me personally, and this is from a drivability standpoint of the car. It does not like light fuel loads and fresh tires combined. To me, it seems like it gets extremely tight because the extra weight in the back end can help it swing the back end around a little bit more and drive better until the tires are warmed up. I'm not saying go to full fuel load. Absolutely not. I do like the strategy factor of having a lighter fuel load in that sense. I think Me personally, I'd say 50 would be a perfect amount, because then that would allow us to not have to worry about of who's saving, who's not, unless there's a caution. In that aspect of it, of course, you're going to have to save tires no matter what. That's a gimme at any track except for Daytona, Talladega, and the road courses. But the fuel difference of 50% would have put us to where everybody could be not necessarily the same exact lap strategy, but on the same pit count. Because there, like Lee was saying, there were a lot of, especially mile-and-a-half races towards the end of the season, where you'd see different strategies of when to pit, but it was the same number of pit stops for each individual person. And there were a couple of races where if it wasn't for a late race caution, whoever did manage to save that extra fuel the best was going to walk away with the win by, if not a lap, very close to, because they had one whole less pit stop they made.
Boy, it sure is making it complicated.
Also,
yeah, this is getting too complicated.
That little bit more fuel would also mean we could run, 3 or 4 laps. It's not going to be like we're running 10 or 15 laps. It's like 3 laps longer, and it would be harder on tires. So it would also bring tire strategy into play, because these tires can fall off a cliff in the last 10 laps of a run, depending on the track.
It'd actually be better on the tires at the start of the run.
Right, but you know what I'm saying, like tire degradation and stuff, and overheating them and stuff like that. Towards the end of the run, it sometimes gets a little slimy.
If you had less fuel too, though, more than likely with our tire limits, you'd have to double stint tires more often, so that would also increase tire strategy, doing less fuel.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I don't want to do that either. I want to be able to have enough tires that if it comes down to it, you got one extra in the pit, you can pit or not pit.
See, with the tires we had this season, if we had them 3 more laps worth of fuel, then we wouldn't have had to double stint quite a few races.
Right, but I do like the factor of the tires, the tire counts we had. I don't think we need to adjust that in any way, shape, or form.
And Mike was figuring that.
Boy,
Mike, how are you
this
figuring
is
out
something
the
else
tires?
right here.
You had a way that you're figuring out how many tires per race, right?
Goodyear puts on the J-Ski website how many tires each team has for the weekend.
This sounds
So I
like
take
Sadducees
any
and Pharisees making all the rules.
Tires, and just use race sets, and then divide it in half, and that's where I get my number. And usually add 1. So if the team gets 10 sets, then we would have 6.
Right. I mean, I like the tire count that we had. I'm on board with that all day long. I think the tire counts we had in the races were overall good for, I'm going to say, 95% of the races. I think Bristol might have been the only question mark a little bit. But even then, I don't see that we had much of a problem there.
And Mike, what was our determination for the laps? Was it 40% of the actual race, or?
No, we're doing 45% race and 45% fuel.
Okay. Yeah, so we would take, at the beginning of the season, we'd go through the NASCAR schedule for each race and how many laps that they state the race are, and we'd take 45% of that, and that's how we would schedule the laps for what we run.
The lap counts, I think, were just fine. I don't think that longer races are needed. I don't think even really necessarily shorter races are needed in that sense. Me personally, I think if we want to actually race it out, barring a caution, throwing the strategy game into it, I feel that just from my experience with the next gen car, that little bit more fuel at the start of the run, yeah, you'll be able to go a little bit a few laps further, but it will help the tires actually, particularly the right front tire, last at most of the tracks a lot longer.
So we're talking about possibly increasing the fuel to 50%.
Yep.
Okay. And then I'm just making. So I'm just so you guys know, I got a notepad here. I'm just writing down some notes about what we're talking about. So that one, we don't forget, and two, we're trying to improve things. So we talk about
what you did. Isn't that what you did last time and you lost them?
Hey, you be quiet. Don't you have to go practice?
I couldn't help but point that out.
Yeah, thanks. Stop it. So are we? We're getting a little ahead. Did we ever? So are we going to? Do we want to just cut out the stage break bonus points?
Yes.
I'm on board with cutting those out.
Yes.
Yeah, less work. I don't think it made a difference.
Okay, so we'll remove the stage break bonus points, and so it sounds like are we? So are we? What was our thoughts on the halfway yellow flag?
I'm for it.
Yes.
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 Yeah, I say put it down and we'll make a decision about it.
You know, nothing is set in stone. You can always adjust these rules throughout the season.
Right.
Yeah, and Mike and I will think on these things some more. I'm just writing down your responses and just to give us something to think about and consider. So we're talking about somewhere around the stage, about halfway through a caution, and I guess are we going to exactly just split it right down the middle?
Unless there's a caution that comes out, I'd say 5 or 10 laps before that.
Yeah, that was my thoughts. 5 or 10 laps.
Because if we're that close to halfway and we get a caution, there's no point in restarting just to shut it right back down and get back under caution.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I think those are the main things that I recalled from that conversation. Was there anything else that anybody has thought about or wanted to talk about or ask about or anything like that with anything that we're doing?
I do remember somebody mentioning, if I remember correctly, somebody mentioning that bringing the drivers' meeting back to like quarter till or 10 till in qualifying at 9, like we did the previous season. Because those of us on the East Coast that do have to get up really early in the morning, some of the races with the distance that we run can be very, very tight on time.
And it puts it right in the middle of my dinner time, so I end up not eating dinner until after that. Sometimes it's midnight before I get to eat.
It looks like you're losing weight though.
Well, they said you're ugly and you're fat. You've lost weight, and that's the best you can do.
Yeah, you can only fix one of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those ideas.
Say that again, Eric.
Moving the drivers' meeting to either 8:45, well, quarter till or 10 till the hour.
Yeah. And
with qualifying on the hour.
My question is, how long is practice? Do people need more than 30 minutes of practice?
It's nice.
I say we just eliminate practice altogether.
Oh, yeah, you would.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny is, you don't have to practice on the night of the race. You can practice anytime. Practice is the same. You can log into our league. You could go into the session.
I know.
It's exactly how it's got set up for Mike and everything. So, I think what I liked about the early practice is, hey, look, I don't have to get here 8 o'clock. But that gives you guys time to talk and fellowship and stuff like that before we get serious.
Yes.
Yeah, I say start practice on the hour, quarter till, drivers meeting.
Okay. That's done.
Okay, I got that written down.
I have a suggestion,
Hey, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
and this is just an idea. How the previous week's winner starts from the back of the pack the following week. Make it like an extra challenge for them.
That's
And-
fine. I did that half the season.
And I'm not aiming that specifically at you, Lee, because I know I would like the challenge at times. I can't speak for Joseph, obviously, him not being here. Can't speak for Baker or Andrew, but just an idea.
Let me see.
Also, something I've seen, I watch a few broadcasts of iRacing leagues, and there's one on the Virtual Grip Network called the BRL, and what they do is the 15th place runner from each week starts up front.
That could get a little bit hairy because if it's before the green flag, you'd have to clear. Then falls into the line of if they're not automatically starting on the pole, then that can create a black flag, and I know we don't clear those.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the other problem is that the last half of the season we had less than 15 drivers every race. So how's that going to work? There's nobody in 15th place.
You have AI drivers.
no.
That's what Mark
the
Anderson
AI
does
at the
on Monday
top.
nights.
I mean, giving you guys a challenge or something, it sounds cool, but like, guess what? You start in the back, and you're going to run into the back of Mike Holland. He's not going to be happy with you. So, but no, I mean, listen, you guys start in the back. We got people that are have a lower skill level, and they're in the back for a reason. And then you start in the back and something dumb happens, you're not going to be happy that before your race even gets started, something happened to you.
Don't talk so poorly about my skill level.
Well, no, I mean, in the end, I mean, granted, again, with the core group we got here, I mean, at the same token, I feel that those of us and I'm saying us in general, not trying to point any specific people out, but that would put a patience factor into it because a lot of those mistakes that can happen in that sense, Glenn, would be because of the faster driver being over aggressive at times, and pushing the limits a little bit too far, and that's where a lot of the problems could come from, absolutely. But if they're patient about it and work their way around, not putting it 3 wide going into turn 1,
Lee,
it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Hey, I do it coming out of 2. I at least let you guys get through 1.
I think, I mean, listen, I know at the beginning of the season we had some people that were not happy with that stuff happening and guys running through the field and coming up through the field. And actually, I know because some people had expressed that displeasure with that going on, and they're not racing with us anymore. And that was their choice to leave. But I know that for some people that was an issue. They're like, I'm like, you kidding me? Green flag, and we're trying to run and rush through this pack. It's like, give us time to spread out and get out here safely. I'm in the back because I'm not as skilled as everybody else, but yet here now I'm put in a position with, why are we going 3 wide? I wouldn't put us 3 wide, but everybody else comes through and does that. And I know for a fact that there's a couple people that don't race with us anymore because that happened. And by putting people in the back, well, we already had that happen, and they weren't patient, and things happen. So, if everybody played the same way, then I could understand that. Be patient coming through the pack and doing your thing, but that didn't happen. So, we've had people come in and they missed qualifying, and they didn't qualify, and you started in the back, and already passed half the field by the time you're coming to turn 2 type of thing. So, I don't know if that's.
Are you still talking about Lee? Because that's where he said he passed you.
No, I just just in general. I mean, I like the idea. I would like that idea of a challenge or something like that, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to have the effect that.
Well, if you're going to do all that, just invert the whole field.
I was going to say, if you want to make it fair, do the lineup by age and put the old guys up front and the young guys in the back because they're the fastest, and give us a chance.
I'll take 36 pole positions.
I was gonna say, I think I'm on the pole every week then.
Not look at they're beating each other with a cane trying to get the pole.
So are we still racing tonight?
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
All right. Anything else?
Ross has got to go to bed.
Yep. Is there anything else on the list?
I don't even know
Nothing
what
that I
we've
know
talked
of.
All right. Anybody got anything we haven't talked about?
I mean, we shouldn't talk about it now, but we should talk about playoff format and whether we thought it was good or bad.
Yes. So we can talk about that next week. For the race.
So are you doing this same car through the winter?
Yes.
All right.
Probably not next. I won't be around next week, Thanksgiving week,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we'll set something up. We got a lot of time.
Yeah, Andrew starts eating turkey on Tuesday, so you can get him being here.
I mean, overall, without getting too deep into a discussion with it, I mean, overall, we definitely made a different change this year with the playoffs, and really coming into the. I'm looking at the driver participation here. To be honest with you, we included people because at the end of the year, if they're not in contention, they're like, well, forget it. Why bother racing? And we would lose a lot of people. So we actually included the top 20, but out of the top 20, I think like the bottom 3 or 4 drivers never ran a race in the playoffs. So we included more people than we had last year, but this year it didn't work out that way. And when I look at I'm looking at the schedule right now for driver participation, and literally the last 10 races prior to the end of the regular season, we were averaging 15 or less drivers per race. So, last year it was different, and we increased the numbers this year, and then we didn't get the drivers. So, we tried to make it so that more guys could participate, and we had, instead of having 4 or 5 layers of cutoffs, we just, we cut it in half each time, and instead of just having, one race to decide the whole kit and caboodle, we tried to do it so that we're still competitive by having 3 races in the final round with 5 drivers, qualified to run for the championship. So that was the thought process behind the way we did it and changed it out this year. And I don't know everybody's feelings compared to the old format, how it played out.
I like the points this year.
Yeah, I liked the points. The only thing I would have liked better is if we had 5 races in the final round instead of the 3. I mean, it was far better than 1, but I feel like 3 wasn't quite enough. You know what I mean? Because one thing happened and everything was upside down. You know what I mean? I mean, it was still great, way better than last season, but I do feel like a 5-race final round would have been a little bit better.
Right. And again, idea. We could always try out where however many drivers we do put in the playoffs, make it still a 10-race playoff. 5 races, half gets cut in half. Last 5 races, those remaining half are who's going for the championship.
And yeah, that would be just fine too.
I mean, it'd give more drivers a chance.
Exactly. More people chance would be better too.
And as far as, and the other thing we did was the final round, everybody started at the same level. There were no bonus points, no nothing. Everybody started out at the same amount for those final races, to try to keep it tighter. How did that play out with the way the points did for the rounds?
I like that fact.
I thought it was fine because I mean we still did the same thing that we did all season, where there was those 3 available bonus points. and one for leading lap and stuff like that. So I feel like it was fine. I just feel like I said before, just more races would have been better.
I mean, like I said, if we do 10 races, take however many drivers, whether it's 16, 20, whatever have you, and run the first 5 races of the playoff, cut it in half from there, last 5 races, and that half of the field is who's going to be going for the championship. I mean, because the thing I don't like about playoffs like that is, yeah, I understand that some of y'all, and including myself, can at times feel like, well, I'm here, I'm close, but I just can't make up that kind of ground, so you kind of get stuck in the status quo at that point. But if we open the field up more, that gives more opportunity for more drivers to have a chance to have a higher points finish in that sense.
Okay, so it sounds like we're fine with not following the NASCAR setup, boiling it down to one race, whoever finishes ahead. It continues to make it a competitive round for the championship type of thing.
See, I feel like that is a bad thing, though, doing a one race, because your whole season comes down to one single race, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you're fast, you're going to make it there, and it all comes down to one single race.
Right, and just like 2022 was. I mean, we got to the final race. Joseph wasn't able to make it because we added the 5th driver in, and in the end, it came down to Baker and me running for it. And if it wasn't for both of us knowing how each other race and trusting each other, I mean, that race could very easily have turned into somebody getting turned for the championship. I mean, I joked about it a lot this year. I'm going to get to Phoenix, and if I'm not giving up this time. But no, that single race championship can get very bad very quick.
Right, and I think it was with like 8 to go, I got taken out of the whole race, and that was the whole season, just because Trent made a small mistake.
Okay, so what we could do is, so it sounds like everybody's in agreement with that. We'd start off with the same thing. We'd talk about maybe 5 races. So we would do just
Why
like
do we
did.
even have playoffs? I mean, just run for points and be done with it, just like NASCAR used to.
Shoot, full season, 36 races. That's fine with me.
Yeah. Well, what ends up happening is there's usually 2 or 3 guys that have made every single race. And that's why I think we had a bonus point for... I think we might have had I think we had 1 bonus point at the beginning of the playoffs for every race that people made. And we think that people should be rewarded. If somebody's been here the entire season and then somebody decides to join us halfway through the season, I don't think the 2 of them should have equal points. I think a guy who's had the endurance and been here and made every race should be rewarded for that. So we gave out, I think we gave out 1 bonus point per race that the driver participated in the regular season.
Yeah, with a max of 26.
Yeah, at the beginning of the round. So, because provided, we know that, somebody goes on, everybody goes on vacation, or somebody's sick, or death in the family, or wedding, or something happens. So we know that there are people that are going to miss races. So, so we kind of did that, and then we have, we had people that start the season and leave us, and then we got people who join the second third of the season and run through the rest of the year, but because they weren't here at the beginning, they don't make the playoffs, but they're here for the rest of the year. And we try to include them. So we can look at changing the rotation of this round. We can split it in half. We could have 10 races and do two rounds with 5 races of each. and then we can still do the thing for who qualifies for the playoffs by, by continuing to do like what we did, race participation, the bonus points, or whatever it was through the regular season, to set the numbers. But by having the playoffs, it brings everybody back together, and it creates more competition for everybody to start relatively close together.
Okay. Right. So Glenn and I will get with each other and hopefully have something in a couple weeks and bring it back to you guys and let you see what we got.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Yeah. And thanks, guys, for everything y'all do on this. And on that note, I'd like to volunteer my services for next year to do points, website, Facebook, whatever I can to help out the league.
Oh, sweet. Well, you're hired.
I might need some instructions on some of it, but I'll definitely jump in there.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah,
we
like
had a fun race tonight, and I'm going to go ice down my arm.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, especially at in-race admin stuff, if you need help with like someone that can put in the controls or what have you, or I can definitely help out on that.
Yep. All right, sounds good. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you later.
And everybody's still cool with the not clearing black flags thing, right? I mean, everybody understands why we don't do that.
Most
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Okay, that just makes life so much easier for Mike and and I know it happens and dumb things happen, but again, it happens to us too, and we just deal with it.
If I wasn't so cheap, I would get Dre, digital race engineer. It costs so much a month to have it, and I could do voice command, admin stuff, and do it in VR, and help you guys out.
What's it called?
Dre, DRE, digital race engineer. It's kind of like crew chief, but they also have admin commands.
Tactics clear, push. Oh, cool. Something else I'd have to look into, but yeah, and I appreciate Ron. I appreciate you offering to help with graphics and stuff. This has been a rough year for me. One is we sold our house and we moved. So I live in a smaller apartment now, so the setup and everything is different. I've had things going on with the church much more than in the past, and I've been busier. I haven't had the luxury of sitting on the couch with a laptop in front of my face like I have in the past, and just work on graphics and stuff all week. So it's been a challenge for me to try to keep up with stuff, and I know I've neglected plenty, but any help I can get with that, I am willing to to hand over stuff to anybody who wants to do it, and also help out with the league. I mean, we have other series and other stuff going on too that could get attention and stuff like that. So any help is definitely appreciated. So I'll get with you, Ron, at some point and see what we can do.
Yeah, like what you was neglecting, it's spreading the workload.
Oh, definitely. And the other thing too that it does is it brings in a totally different look, different set of eyes, different background on how things are done and stuff like that. And
Does it call leaving the pit lane?
Gives it something fresh.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
Okay, so I'm going to go log into the practice session.
The leader has just done
I guess I can give Eric. I guess I can make you an admin. Anybody else?
The fastest lap.
I don't know if there's going to be a race. I don't know if there's going to be a race. We ain't got enough guys. There's only a few guys on the track even in there.
Yeah, let's do a 25 or 50 lapper.
I bailed.
It's not full. It's a short race anyway.
The fastest lap.
Yeah, we'd have to.
75 laps.
now 0.2.
Yeah, but if we
That was at
change the lap
30.2.
count, we'd have to redo the whole server.
No, it's How many laps are the race? Is it set up for 50?
75.
No, that's not much. Ross, you could take a nap tomorrow.
I could, but I'm hungry and I want to eat. So if we're done here in the meeting, then I'm gonna go eat.
Pit exit looks clear. The leader's just done a 30.2.
Oh, okay.
Just hit the positive flash. 30.188.
And I had to update them.
P2.
I gotta figure out what to do is that the hard drive that my game is actually on is pretty much full. I gotta see if I can get like a 1 terabyte hard drive and add to this and run the game on that one. So I don't know if how I would transfer it from one hard drive to another.
On pit exit.
Go high. Inside. Clear inside. Low, clear low.
Off the leader's pace. Your last lap time was at 30.4. P2. That puts you 0.1 off the pace. That lap time was 30.2. The leader has just done a 30.1.
The fastest lap. 30.085.
All right,
Yeah, skunk. Baker, did you not make yourself a paint scheme?
Nah, I grabbed the old Morgan Shepherd car.
I thought we'd see your beautiful ride out here.
I ain't wasting no time painting a Chevrolet.
There's a
you
car
can get
approaching.
different
Stay
stickers
behind
on
the
it.
white line.
Make it look like a Mustang. I just didn't have the time
Well,
to do it.
it is a Ford. It is a Ford paint job.
Oh, I love these dials.
It's weird. It's 3/4 throttle is like a normal cup car these days, and then that last quarter is like 400 more horsepower.
Go high.
Feels like it's a never-ending throttle.
Yep. I went to Phoenix with this car for a minute to see what it did at Phoenix, and it runs about the same time as
V3.
next gen.
Hey, where's fifth gear?
In the next gen.
They forgot the transaxle on these things, huh? Tell you what, it's hard to get used to that.
You're
cruise
currently
speed this thing
0.6
has.
off the leader's pace. You've just done a 30.7.
Got a slow car up ahead. Go high.
Andrew, did you miss those barrels?
No, I intentionally hit him after I knew I was spinning. I was like,
Okay. Well, I was
That was,
passing. It looked like you
30.5.
barely avoided them.
P3.
That would be speaking a bit.
Just a wee bit.
The leader has just done a 30.1. That puts you 0.3 off the pace. You've just done a 30.4.
7-4.
You're currently 0.5 off the pace. The guy ahead's last lap time is a 30.2. You're now 0.5 off the leader's pace. That lap time was 30.6.
I forgot these cars have that stick up for the wall.
The lap time was 30.7.
Well, you're all right down there. Spinning like a top.
I think I just threw up.
20 minutes remaining. You've got 20 minutes left.
All right, Eric.
What's that?
All right, I made you admin. I'm going to get out of here. I got to go put a heat pad on my back. So I think you should be able to advance it and do all that stuff.
Yep, that should be alright.
Your exit looks clear. Stay behind the line.
Okay. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for all the input tonight in the meeting. Appreciate it. Give us some ideas, things we hadn't thought about or whatever. So I appreciate everybody coming out for that and for hanging out with us.
See you, Glenn.
Hey guys, I know I still have to do your pick from last year, but I will do it.
Tell me when you're ready to move forward.
That puts you 0.4 off the pace.
Michael, what was that guy's name?
Stone Cold.
No, the new member you were telling me.
Bradford Bowers.
Yeah, so I sent the invite, so he's accepted it, so it's not there anymore.
Yeah, I think he's in there, or in here in the ghost mode.
Alright, cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm ready whenever. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna get any faster.
That lap was
Yeah,
at
me too.
30.5.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever.
I'm getting worse.
I know, I've just slowed down like 2/10 so I can get out of
It's
it.
getting worse, man.
Off the tracks.
It's getting loose and everything else.
I've backed it into the wall 6 or 7 times since.
I wonder if it's gonna not be as dark when it starts.
Oh.
Checkered flags out. P3.
There we go.
That's the end of the session. P3.
Oh boy, I got a headache.
Y'all want to qualify?
I'm fine, just roll with it.
I'm
I
good
don't
to skip.
You gotta make a difference.
How does it start you by number?
iRating.
Yeah, you'll be on the pole here, Baker.
Great. Start in the front.
I kind of wanted to start out back, but it'd be alright.
Alright, man, we're going green next time. Alright, man, line up on the inside row. We put in
The
plenty
track
of
temp
fuel to
is
finish the ride.
77. The air temp
estimated
is
SOS
77.
is
Fahrenheit 75.
Give everybody one.
9. Pit road is closed.
Stay behind the pace car.
What was it on single file restart?
No, I clicked the wrong thing.
Oh. Where did Lee go?
Hart, you gotta pass me here, buddy.
Just checking something.
Get ready.
All right, Michael, get ready.
Cars in.
Go.
Green, green, green.
Woo, baby.
Get one
It's all about that.
Stay low.
I didn't even think about practicing restarts.
I didn't even try to
That
start
would have been
like.
smart.
Did you get loose too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I lost it and went in the grass. I wasn't even sure what gear to start in. When I pulled off on the apron, the first gear was not
Okay,
good.
let's find a good rhythm. Make some places.
Yeah, I figured I'd let you buy Lee.
P3.
Is that what happened? This thing's loose.
That car is the leader. Got one
That's
outside.
probably one of the few cars that you'd want less
Still
to
there.
tighten it up.
Clear outside. Clear high.
P2. The leader's just done at 30.6. Okay, Michael, matching race pace. Fastest lap for Jefferson, 30.5. The guy behind has just done a 30.7.
30.456.
This car is all over the place.
That's your fastest lap for Jefferson, 30.3. The guy behind has just done a 30.4.
Car in P1, just hit the fastest lap. 30.278.
We think the pit window for refueling will open on lap 28. It'll close on lap 46.
Should we do caution around lap 35?
I think anything after 15 will make it. 20 somewhere in there.
You guys
Y'all
don't
throwing
want
a
any green
caution?
flag stops?
I mean, I thought I was running it all the way through.
Yeah, I thought we were running all the way through, unless somebody wrecked.
We can do that.
That lap was at 30.5.
30.55.
How about wiped out on the first 100 feet?
Well, we need to make sure that Baker's back in the lead to get caution.
That last lap was at 30.7.
throttle down low. Go high.
consistent.
Stay low.
Still there.
Still there. Hold your line.
Careful, still there.
Stay low.
Still there. Still there. Hold your line.
Stay low. There's a car on the high side.
Hold your line. Easy. Hold your line. Clear outside.
Clear high.
High.
Got one outside. The lead is just due to
Careful,
30.
still there.
9, 8, 5. Still there. Hold your line.
Just done at 31.2. 31.4. Lap times are pretty consistent. Just done a 31.6. Time was at 31.6. Jefferson ahead is increasing. It's now
stuck to the wall.
Was that 32.4?
837.
Is now 1.0.
Car inside. Got one inside.
Clear
all
inside.
Clear, all clear.
time was at 31.9. Okay, Michael, the next car is Jefferson. That was a 32.0. Fastest lap for Papini, 30.2, P3.
The car in P5 just hit the fastest lap, 30.179.
These cars are all over the place, man.
I believe it just did on 32.072.
Am I muted?
No, I got it.
Okay.
It's a
I was
handful.
checking.
As soon as I got cleaned in, this thing is so loose.
Yeah, mine's like turning into rear here.
It's like 300 pounds of downforce in the nose now.
The gap to Jefferson ahead is increasing. It's now 0.9.
Yeah, I scraped the wall when you came by and like stuck to it.
Yeah, it does that.
Same thing right after Lee passed me.
I was wondering why I was catching you there for a second.
Yeah, they don't get off the wall.
It got faster.
Okay, Michael, the pit window is now open.
Man, loose as a goose.
The gap to Jefferson ahead is now 1.3 seconds.
So low.
Thank you, Rob.
Full course caution, be
Caution
careful.
is out. Caution is out. Line up single file. Pit road is closed. Enter 83.
8 cars out, line up single file, behind car number 83. We're under caution, it's closed.
Enter 83 car.
I would have probably messed up a green flag stop anyway.
Yeah, I know it's going to be tricky.
I messed up the green flag stop.
I see sparks.
There's like fenders
Pit
flying
road is
off
now
of
open.
It's
Ron.
open.
Is it not turning?
Zero steering.
Past the 17. Past the...
Just bouncing through the walls till you get in there. There you go.
There it was.
That was a little strong. Hey, your wheels on the hood.
Oh, man.
It's the A car. Past the 17. Past the...
What's your speed limit in the pits? Pit lane speed limit is 45 miles per hour. The leader's pitting now. Palmer behind is pitting.
Keep boxing. 10. 5. 3. 2. 1. Right here.
Ooh, 61% right sides.
Oh, mine's in the 50s.
Same.
I think the bottom line must tear them up because I ran the bottom most of the time.
Alright, that's it. Go.
I ran the bottom until I seen Andrew. I figured it was going to be up top. I seen Andrew pulled 2
past
on
the
there.
17.
So I thought I'd go there, and I started creeping up on you guys.
Yeah, I went up top to let Baker pass me, and then I was like, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, you started getting faster.
Yeah, I was gaining like a 10, maybe 2 tenths a lap. So I kind of found the bottom there. And then you and Baker started to race, and I gained a few tenths, and then you pulled away from me, and you guys were still side by side. I was like, what's going on? And I had a good lap. Then I realized you were up top, so I'll try it. It was pretty good up there. I feel like it, I don't know what burned them up more.
Okay, Michael, halfway home. We've got
The
plenty
bottom
of fuel.
burned up my right front, I know, because I stay down there most of the time. I'm not sure if I can run that top too much.
Ron, did you turn off your fast repairs?
No, I didn't make it here. I had to tow.
Ah, okay.
Well, you had it on before you towed, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Just couldn't make it down pit road.
I don't think you had any steering whatsoever in that car left.
Well, the wheel was sitting up on the hood when I saw it.
The right front was about in the engine compartment.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the old Morgan Shepherd scheme.
Yeah, I had picked another car. It was a Ford Quality Care car, but it was a Pro car and I couldn't use it.
Alright, man. Halfway this time by.
I think,
Alright, man, we're going
you got to be a pro.
Alright, man, line up on the
You
inside
gotta
row.
get it. You can have custom numbers. It's so much nicer. It's worth it.
Let the 76 car by. He had the position when the yellow flag came out. Past the 76. Past the...
I'm sure Eric might agree with that. Custom numbers just, I don't know what it is. They just make everything so much better.
Unless you're in a road car, custom numbers are much nicer.
Yeah.
Because like the IMSA stuff, the sim stamp versus a custom number really doesn't make much of a difference.
Yeah, that is true.
The custom number comes into play when you do the spec maps.
Are y'all doing the Geico start zone or going green?
Oh, it's going green here.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna lay back after what happened last time.
Spin out. How's this thing restarted?
Yeah, it's bad on the restart, dude.
First gear?
Allowed me to lead a lap.
No, don't go to first gear. No.
Is that what you did?
No, I tried that on the back stretch, just seeing. I was like, it's revving the engine too much.
See, I chattered them a little bit. I mean, it started with a buzz on that restart for the start, but I didn't have too bad. I might have been rolling on.
Get ready.
I mean, luckily I drove on off into the grass.
The pace car's in.
iRacing.
The leader just did a 36.062.
Gap to Jefferson ahead is now 0.1.
Next car is the leader.
That was 30.6. The gap in front is now 0.8.
The leader just did a 30.705.
That lap time was 30.7. That lap time was 30.7. Your last lap time was at 30.6.
Ooh, that was close.
Your lap time was at 30.7. That's good consistency. Keep it up.
The lead is stood on 30.912.
That was 31.1.
Nice save.
Appreciate it. I don't know what's harder to drive, these or the 87s.
20 laps to go at the line.
You've just done a 31.2. That's good consistency. Keep it up.
The lead is stood on 31.228.
Ron, if you want by, go low.
Nah. I run 5 decent laps and then I get loose as heck coming out of 4.
Gotcha.
a 31.8.
662.
The gap in front is now 1.4. That lap was a 31.9.
Then we go with the line.
You've just done a 32.0. You've just done a 32.2. Full course
Alright,
caution.
man, caution is out. Caution is out. Line up single file. Pit road is closed.
Sorry, Lee, I couldn't
Pace
check
car
it
is out.
fast enough.
It's closed.
Car
Pace
by.
car's out.
Yes,
Line up
position
single
when the yellow
file
flag
in
came
car
out.
number
You're all
53.
good. These things are so easy to do that.
I was struggling back here.
Ooh, man, that was hard.
I was falling off big time.
I was giving it all I had. But I hit it so low there, I was just skating all the way through that corner.
Yeah, I was gonna cut down below you, but you were getting loose, and I was like, oh, there's no room.
It's all good. I was hoping we could run it out there, though. That would have been awesome. Because we were
Yeah, that would have been
slipping and
fun.
sliding. That was about all I had. I don't think I had any more left in there.
Pit road is now open.
Pits are open.
But Eric's happy.
No, I can't keep up with you guys anyways right now. I'm seriously tired. I'm trying to stay awake right now.
Yeah, I'm sick as a
Just
dog,
like
bro.
yourself.
I'm ready to go.
I drive better when I'm sick. I don't know what it is.
I don't, man. I got a headache.
Leader, Jefferson is pitting. Look
That's
out
the
for the pit
worst.
speed limit.
This track is bumpy and it is jarring my head to death.
Oh, man, and you got that motion stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's amazing how bumpy this track is.
1. Right here.
Oh, it's rough.
Especially if you got the dog leg a little bit.
I did that on the first lap.
That's it. Go. Line up single file. It's a 53 car.
Full course yellow. Pits are open.
Feel free to give me an EOL here, Eric, if you want to start in front of me.
No. You don't have to do
What
that,
happened?
I wrecked Lee, so I let you guys pass me in the pits there.
You did not have to do that at all.
I'm the lucky dog, which means I'd get put to the back anyways.
Oh, that's right.
I can tell you, as soon as this race is over, I'm gonna say my goodnights, and then I'm heading to bed.
I'm going to get
I don't blame him.
some cold medicine. I don't know what it's called, but it's calling my name.
What you feeling like, Baker?
Only way I can sleep.
See, I was sick for 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. I'm just not getting over it. And man, I couldn't sleep for like a week. I was getting a maximum of an hour and a half of sleep. That was it. And I was wide awake. Wasn't that tired. And then
that's terrible.
Had a horrible headache. Just felt like crap, sore throat for about 2 weeks, and then I'm just not getting over it. I still got a sore throat, but man, it's horrible. I hope you don't know what I had.
Yeah, I got sinus pressure, runny nose, coughing like crazy, can't breathe half the time.
Yeah, I hate that. That
Pits are
sucks.
open.
It's definitely a cold, head cold. I think the worst part is the headache. It's like nothing is touching it either, man. Ibuprofen.
Yeah, that's how I had it. Nothing would touch it. It was just a solid. And I get headaches pretty normally. And man, it was horrible. It's only worse.
All right, man, we're going green next time by.
All right, Michael,
man.
get ready.
Line up
Race
on
will
the
resume at the end of this lap.
We're in a podium position.
It's probably gonna be my last race with this this PC.
Oh yeah.
Upgrading?
Oh yeah.
I showed you a picture of the truck simulator.
Nice.
I don't know if you saw it. It was a video.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's 32s.
Those
like
are your
you got.
screens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have
I was just showing you how wide it was.
What was that, Lee?
what do you have for screens?
Just a single 32-inch right now.
I got a single 40. I don't know if you've used VR, but it's horrible going back. Eventually I'm going to upgrade to triples. I'm going to do 32-inch triples.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to before the end of the year, but I can't do VR. I can't get used to it. It's
So
not
Lee, you're not going back to VR?
No, I mean, it's cool and all, but it's, I don't know. I've heard good things about triples and stuff.
Yeah, I've used all of it, everything.
Get ready.
I love VR though. I mean, you can't beat it really. It was great. I was about a tenth and a half a lap quicker no matter what it felt like.
Green flag.
Green, green, green. All right, you're back in second. Next car is the leader. The leader just did a 35.792.
Man, Senate.
Got one inside.
Careful, still there. Hold your line.
Stay high. There's the car on the low side.
Easy, hold your line. Clear inside.
Low, clear low.
P3.
Ooh, baby.
Nice save there, Baker.
2 laps to go.
Try not to call the caution.
All right, man. Full car is lap down.
2 laps remaining. The gap to Papini ahead is increasing. It's now 1.9.
30.068. Got one outside.
Clear outside.
All clear, all clear.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. It's white flag this time by. One more
So
to
your
go.
fastest lap for Jefferson, 29.9. The leader has just done 29.9. The lap time was 31.9.
9.898.
Oh thought you were gonna have some momentum on me there. I got just a little bit loose.
Yeah, big problems with the motor.
I was just trying to pressure you into getting
Well
loose
done,
there.
Michael. Great drive. That's a very good
enough.
Some momentum on me there. You were able to keep it off the wall.
There you go, man. Good job, driver.
Top 5, I'll take it.
Ain't a medic.
Yeah, I just collected you there, Eric.
I went under it.
Watch me get through turn 4 on the last lap.
I feel like I got a right front.
I gotta give it to you, Andrew. You were hauling up top there. I couldn't do that on fresh tires.
It's just so much smoother up there, I think, is what the benefit is.
Yeah, and you just carry that